Climate change is one of the most significant megatrends driving social change and influencing corporate behavior worldwide. Beyond its environmental consequences, climate change affects communities, labor markets, public health, economic stability, and social equity. Rising temperatures, extreme weather events, flooding, droughts, and changing environmental conditions can disrupt livelihoods, damage infrastructure, and increase vulnerability among populations. Companies are increasingly expected to understand and address the social implications of climate-related risks. Investors recognize that climate change is a systemic issue capable of affecting entire economies and industries simultaneously. Consequently, businesses must integrate climate considerations into risk management, stakeholder engagement, workforce planning, and long-term sustainability strategies. A closely related megatrend is transition risk, which refers to the social and economic consequences associated with the shift toward a lower carbon economy. Regulatory changes, carbon pricing mechanisms, technological innovation, and evolving consumer preferences can alter employment patterns, business models, and industry structures. Companies operating in carbon-intensive sectors may face workforce restructuring, operational transformation, and changing stakeholder expectations. While the transition creates opportunities in renewable energy, sustainable infrastructure, and clean technology industries, it may also generate social challenges related to job displacement and economic adjustment. Businesses increasingly focus on ensuring a just transition that balances environmental objectives with workforce development, social inclusion, and community resilience. Water scarcity is another major megatrend with significant social implications. Access to clean and reliable water supplies is essential for human health, agriculture, industry, and economic development. Increasing demand, population growth, climate change, and environmental degradation place growing pressure on freshwater resources. Water shortages can affect food security, public health, industrial productivity, and social stability, particularly in vulnerable regions. Companies that rely heavily on water resources may face operational disruptions, increased costs, and stakeholder scrutiny. As a result, businesses increasingly implement water management strategies, conservation initiatives, and sustainable sourcing practices. Investors evaluate water-related risks because they can materially affect corporate performance and long-term social sustainability. Pollution represents another important social megatrend influencing corporate practices and stakeholder expectations. Air pollution, water contamination, soil degradation, plastic waste, and hazardous emissions can have significant effects on public health, quality of life, and community well-being. Pollution-related issues may increase healthcare costs, reduce labor productivity, and create regulatory and reputational risks for businesses. Stakeholders increasingly expect companies to minimize environmental impacts and demonstrate responsible operational practices. Organizations that fail to manage pollution effectively may face legal liabilities, financial penalties, and loss of stakeholder trust. Consequently, pollution management has become an important element of corporate sustainability strategies, ESG reporting, and long-term risk management frameworks. Mass migration is increasingly linked to environmental and climate-related pressures. Extreme weather events, resource scarcity, environmental degradation, and declining economic opportunities can contribute to population displacement and migration flows across regions and countries. Migration affects labor markets, housing demand, infrastructure requirements, social services, and community dynamics. Businesses may experience both opportunities and challenges as demographic patterns shift. Companies may gain access to new labor pools but also face increased expectations regarding workforce integration, diversity, inclusion, and human rights protections. Investors assess migration-related social risks because large-scale population movements can influence economic stability, consumer demand, political environments, and corporate operating conditions. The loss and degradation of natural resources and ecosystem services also create significant social consequences. Ecosystems provide essential services such as food production, water purification, climate regulation, soil fertility, and disaster protection. When these systems deteriorate, communities may experience reduced economic opportunities, declining public health outcomes, increased resource competition, and greater vulnerability to environmental shocks. Businesses dependent on natural resources face operational risks and supply chain disruptions, while stakeholders increasingly expect responsible environmental stewardship. Companies are therefore adopting sustainability initiatives that support conservation, resource efficiency, ecosystem restoration, and responsible sourcing. These efforts help strengthen resilience while addressing the social dimensions of environmental degradation. Collectively, climate change, transition risk, water scarcity, pollution, mass migration, and ecosystem degradation demonstrate the interconnected nature of environmental and social challenges. These megatrends influence communities, economies, governments, and businesses simultaneously, creating systemic risks that extend beyond individual organizations. Companies increasingly recognize that effective management of social issues requires understanding their environmental drivers and broader societal impacts. Investors incorporate these considerations into ESG analysis because they can affect corporate reputation, regulatory exposure, workforce stability, operational continuity, and long-term value creation. As sustainability challenges intensify, organizations that proactively address these megatrends are likely to be better positioned to maintain resilience, strengthen stakeholder relationships, and support sustainable economic development.